up, everybody? Welcome in Truth and Transparency, Idaho4. We have so many new documents. We got a new interview out there. Matthew Holland, the custody queens, just interviewed him. We have Hippler. He's like, okay, we're going to give you guys a download. Woo-wee. So again, welcome to Idaho4. Bring your biggest timeline beefs to the table. Go ahead and check out that thumbnail. We took the Idaho Tower and we put blood and shit all over it. You know, I'm going to pull up this Chris Holland, just the beginning of it, just for a timeline reference here. So glad that they went out and did this, Custody Queens.
Excited to be here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Liberia National Police.
Welcome, Chris. We're super excited to have you.
Well, I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be fun. We talked before. We kind of like to have you lead us through. Let us know what your experience is, because that's gonna help us. Let's just start with just basic police officer, FBI.
Okay, well, yeah. So I was a police officer for 5 years in Florissant, Missouri, which is mostly well known for being next door to Ferguson. Nothing more needs to be said about that, right?
Yeah.
I was in the FBI. I was a special agent. Retired from the FBI. While I was with the bureau, I took a deployment to Baghdad. And when I retired from the bureau, I did go to Baghdad for on a 6-month deployment over there as a contractor. I later went to Afghanistan as an advisor to what was then the Afghan Major Crimes Task Force, which was being stood up as a kind of a quasi-FBI organization. Went from there, I spent 3 years, and I always emphasized Liberia, not Libya. Police primarily. When I came back, I have a buddy who works in use of force issues, and that's how I got started involved in doing this kind of work. Took his crime scene analysis course that he teaches in criminal profiling. I've known him 7 or 8 years. Took his the master's I have in forensic criminology. I took through a program he developed, and during all this time, in terms of my work, he's helped me with some different issues I've had. This case, how I got involved is, make it clear, I did not work for Dr. Turvey. I wasn't paid. I've not made any money on this from anybody. Turvey reached out to me. He's a scientist. He examined this case. He reached a conclusion, and I want to stay focused on this as we go through this evening. He reached a conclusion that there were 2 offenders or more involved in the murders in Idaho. And I want to emphasize that his issue and mine was not about who did it. It was about what happened. What did the science show? Or from my standpoint, what does the investigation show occurred? So his task for me was, I believe there were 2 or more people involved in this. You look at this as an investigator and try and prove me wrong. Mm-hmm. So that's how I became into this matter. Through the course of doing that, I couldn't prove him wrong. Everything points to there being 2 or more people involved in the murder.
Okay. So, Ann Taylor didn't hire him. Is that what we're under the impression of here? Dr. Turvey took it to him?
Whether or not Kohlberger was one of them is not an issue for me. It's just the fact that there were 2 or more people involved.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a lot, and I know that you and I talked. How long before the plea agreement was reached did you start working or looking at this for Dr. Turvey?
Oh, wow, time gets away from me now. Quite a long time, let's put it that way.
Like a year.
I couldn't tell you exactly now. It's just kind of run together. A year, probably a year.
Okay.
Not that long after. I do not know when he became involved with it. I only know that at some point after he had done his analysis, we talked and he said, "Here's what I want you to do."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys, I have the biggest question here. What did he provide Chris Holland to like say, hey, or check my work. You'd have to provide the material. And this was under a gag order. I mean, is Kristen in here? Thank you. I am so glad that you got this interview, because now I'm just like, wait a second, how did this happen? So maybe at some point, Kristen, if you could, if you know that. She's like, Kristen is here. Yes. Okay.
Were there specific opinions he expressed that he wanted you to look at, or specific facts that or theories?
No, it was the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, it was just open-ended, and the emphasis here was prove me wrong. That's what he's looking for. This is a scientific process, right? Mm-hmm. You think you've reached the conclusion, now you try and prove yourself wrong. And that's all he was looking for, a different set of eyes with a different background as an investigator to look at it. So I'm looking at things that aren't involved in the scientific process. What other evidence is out there? Timelines, the ins and outs of the dog and things like that. And you start putting all those pieces together, it all keeps coming back to there was more than one person involved.
Yeah. Maybe let's start, you bring up timelines. Maybe let's start with the timeline. The prosecution claims that the murders happened during a distinct, specific window of time, and that it was somewhere from, 7 to 12 minutes, I think. Is that consistent with the evidence or with what you've seen?
No. Here's the problem. You can't really put a marker on when it began.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. You can't really put a marker on when it began. Okay. Absolutely. Let's talk about that 252 time frame.
We can put a marker on when it ended. It began.
Mm-hmm.
But we can put a marker on when it ended. And we can establish a time. Let me just put it this way. We're looking at this from the standpoint of the state's case that Kohlberger was involved, and he drove away from the scene in a white car, correct?
Correct.
And the car departs at 4:20 and some seconds. We'll just call it 4:20 for round numbers. All right. So at 4:17:40, now I have to refer to the video. When I refer to the video, I'm always going to be referring to the 11/12 security camera video, unless I say something else, and I won't. So on that camera, on that recording, at 4:17:40, we have the dog barking. We have what is the pong table getting hit and a scream. Right. So we know what the accuracy of that as far as the pong table goes. Bethany Foom woke up. She says she heard the pong table get hit. You all recall this, correct? And then she calls Dylan. She calls Dylan at 4:18.
I mean, Bethany called because she said she heard a firecracker and saw sparklers underneath her door. We just went over this today. Like, sparklers underneath her door. I mean, that just, you guys, this is going to get me every time. Also, so we're going with we're going with their statement. So their statement is that's what Bethany heard. But I thought that we can't give any weight to Dylan or Bethany because they're just unreliable. Which is going to get into the whole, like, but let's see where we go here with this, because I just would be like, Dylan could have been bumping into that table.
So on the recording, we have 4:17 and about 4:17:40 when we hear it get hit, and that calls 20 seconds later.
There is no way that we hear that on that camera. That's what that is, you guys. I'm sorry, but unless the beer pong table collapses to the point that it's getting like flipped, like, tossed, not just bumped into. This would have to be the fucker is flipping, like, it's a flip, it's falling, it's collapsed, you're kicking out one of the sides and your beer pong table getting just bumped into is not going to make that sound. But the table, collapsing, because it's like a flip, flip and fuck, throw your cup,
Saying I heard the pong table get hit. That fixes us. That pong table got hit at that period of time. That's when Xana was being attacked. Okay. We have that time fix now.
That's when Xana's being attacked. Okay.
So from the time that happens at 4:17:40, the killer has to chase Xana into her bedroom, slash and stab.
And the way they're going, I know why he's saying this. This is the state's theory. The state's theory is that Maddie and Kaylee were killed first upstairs, and that on the way down, kills Xana and then Ethan. Okay, that's the state's theory. And so the theory then is that the beer pong table is bumped into and the attack begins on Xana at 4:17 and some change.
Xana 67 times, kill Ethan in the bed with 11 cuts, and then walk out and get in the car and drive away. That's according to the state's case. And now we haven't even talked about the fact that the house was cleaned up. The blood is wiped up. All it doesn't fit into what we know is a 3-minute window from when Xana was killed or attacked. You with me?
I agree.
Yes.
Okay. So that time of 4:17:40 is the most critical time in the whole investigation.
Yeah, I think you said there's 183 seconds, you told me, between the
Math was wrong, I think.
Oh.
Something like that. Figure it out. 4:17:40, and I think right at about 20:30, so a little over 3 minutes.
and how do we know that other than hearing the sound from she was attacked?
In one spot. Just in one spot.
Where the Xana's blood was found in the kitchen. So
In one spot. Just in one spot.
Wait, what?
Now, I don't remember. I wasn't aware that Xana's blood was found in the kitchen. So
In one spot. Just in one spot.
Okay.
Where? Xana's blood found in the kitchen?
Now, that wasn't the blood that was on the pong table? That it may have been somebody else's because of a misnumbering by Sutton.
No.
Okay, so that's something different. Okay, and there was also Ethan's blood found on the second floor. I don't know in the kitchen, but by the stairs or at the top of the stairs.
I think they're wrong. I don't know where he's getting that information that Xana's blood was in the kitchen.
A box.
Well, actually, there's a coming up from the first floor.
Yeah.
And you know that the stairs are offset. You come up into the common room, cross the common room to get to the stairs to go up. So when you come up to the first floor, there's a half wall. The half wall has, I would call it a cap board on it. And Ethan's blood is actually on the stair side of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's on that cap board. So the question becomes, and Ethan never left the bedroom. And if the killer walked out the glass sliding doors, as our witness says, then how did Ethan's blood get on the stair cap board?
Yeah.
How?
I want an answer. No, I'm kidding.
Another very good question.
Well, how about some options?
All right.
Did you ever see any evidence of the DoorDash bag being actually on the porch? We have the picture of it on the kitchen table with, the Post-it that says Xana. But did you ever see anything with respect to the bag being a picture of it being taken on the porch or anything like that?
Yes, there was a photograph of it sitting at the door, which the DoorDash person, I think her name is McDonald, sent to let them know it's there. Right.
Mhm.
Where is that picture?
Now, and I see this question. I was thinking this too. Mitchell Callahan.
Sent
A picture of it being taken on the porch or anything like that?
Yes, there was a photograph of it sitting at the door, which the DoorDash person, I think her name is McDonald, sent to let them know it's there. Right.
Mhm. Now, and I see this question. I was thinking this too. Mitchell Callahan. Xana's blood never left the bedroom. So you've seen, and I know that they're not public, or maybe I don't know if they're in the last stuff. But you've seen the actual crime scene photos of Xana's room. Is there any way that anybody could have left that room and not left marks out through the kitchen assuming they went out that kitchen door?
Absolutely not. And I know Dr. Turvey expressed that is a tremendous amount of blood on the floor. It's impossible.
Yeah. So just the fact that there was no blood, is there any record of blood of there was no bloody footprints that I saw, or on the second floor in the common area, right?
No, there are none.
Okay. What about in the bedrooms? Was there any evidence of what do you see, shoe marks or shoe prints or anything, or is it just all smeared around?
I'm not aware of there being anything clear in terms of a shoe print or a shoe mark.
Okay.
Are there any other issues associated with the timing? I know you're talking about the impossibility based upon the beer pong table and the car leaving, but what other observations did you make surrounding the timeline just being impossible, as the prosecution stated?
Well, none of it fits. So, all right. So let's go to the knife sheath. All right. So the sheath is found wedged underneath Madison Mogan's hip in the bed. All right. And we have the blood, constellation of blood on the sheet beneath that knife sheath. Constellation, very specks of blood. And none of that is transferred onto the sheath. So the blood takes time to dry. And how much time? I don't know. 15 minutes, 20 minutes to dry. Well, all of a sudden now, as soon as you understand that, again, the state's timeline doesn't fit. What they're alleging will not fit within the time that we know. That doesn't work. Even if the state did a run-throughs on trying to simulate what happened in there. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. And so they did a walk, I'll call it a walkthrough for want of a better word, a speed walkthrough. How long would it take to have killed two victims on the third floor and then killed Xana and Ethan on the second floor and get out? And they came up with like a minute 30 or minute 33 seconds, something like that, which basically is less than a second per slash or stab. I mean, it's absurd. Then they did it what they call the walkthrough at a slower, more pace, and they came out with 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Again, it's absurd. Kaylee was suffocated. You're aware of that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to suffocate somebody? That act in and of itself took 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well,
Yeah.
the timeline just goes out the window.
Yeah.
And they're not taking into account the fact of the struggle. How long did it take to deliver 64 slashes and stabs to a woman who's on her feet fighting you?
On her feet?
Yeah, and you're referring to Xana.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Xana.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me here. This is absolutely crucial to me.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about behavior and what happened inside the house.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrupt your flow, but I'm going to. So let's go back upstairs. So we want to talk about time.
Mm-hmm.
We're in that upstairs bedroom, and just to orient people, when you step into Madison Mogan's bedroom, you're in the doorway. The bed is to your immediate left. It lies along that wall, and the head of the bed is against that far wall to your left. Okay, and Madison and Kaylee is on the inside of that bed. So this goes to the heart of there being two attackers, at least two offenders. Kaylee has 3 defensive wounds on her. All right. Which indicate that she was overwhelmed quickly. She had no opportunity to fight. Madison has 10 wounds, defensive wounds. So she's awake at time. All right. So back to Kaylee. The crime scene photos will show you that Kaylee was upright in the bed. There is a copious amount of blood on the comforter where she would have been sitting upright. and some of it is still even wet when the police come at noon that day. On the wall, which as you're looking at it would be to her right, the wall right there, there is blood on the wall right there, again, showing she was sitting up. And it's spurts, 1, 3, 4 obvious spurts of blood that have dripped down the wall. Then behind her, what would be the head of the bed, you have the same thing on that wall, and they're straight spurts down, meaning they didn't come from the side, they didn't come from an angle, they were directly from her onto this wall. All this tells us that her killer got on the bed to kill her. All right. So she's attacked with a sharp-edged instrument. That's put down at some point, and she is strangled. And there was nothing in there indicating that anything was used. I would believe it was the hands because of the rage involved in this thing. So now we have what, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe a minute to cause petechial hemorrhaging to occur. And then you have the blunt. So how long did all that in and of itself take? And while that's going on, why isn't Madison getting out of bed? Well,
Because there's someone else.
the simple reason is that the two people came in. The first one attacked Kaylee, and the second one circled the bed and went right to Madison. And again, on Madison Mogan, all the injuries are to the upper body. Okay, they never got out of the bed. It took two people to keep them in that bed and do that.
Yeah. Here's a good question, and you may or may not have.
So at the same time, so two people at the same time attacked Maddie and Kaylee. Right.
Have an answer, but I see it up on the board. How long would you expect the actual murders themselves? How long would you expect that would have to take?
I wouldn't even venture that. We have no way of knowing when the two upstairs were killed.
Right.
Okay. Now, according to the state, again, if it was Kohlberger, they're going to say it happened at 4:05 to 4:20.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all I'm focusing on is what was the state's case and how it's not
Right.
going to fit.
Yeah. But
Right.
the 405 to 4.
Right there. We have no idea what. So would it have helped if you had their phone records to see that their phones never moved again?
Wouldn't even venture that.
Okay.
We have no way of knowing when the two upstairs were killed.
Right.
Okay. Now, according to the state, again,
Why? My question would be like, why? Why do we have no idea when the two upstairs were killed? I just want to know his answer to that. And I think his answer, should be that there's no blood transfer, that somebody's have to clean all that up to if the killer's upstairs going to the next one. And
if it was Kohlberger, they're going to say it happened at 4:05 to 4:20.
correct.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all I'm focusing on is what was the state's case and how it's not
Right.
going to fit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the 405 to 420 includes parking the car, coming inside, going upstairs, finding him, and he's out. He's taken off at 420, 183 seconds after chasing Xana and before killing Xana and Ethan, right? Under
Right.
that period.
Right.
So in 183 seconds.
Let's just call it 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So in 3 minutes, chases Xana, kills her, kills him,
Mm-hmm.
kills Ethan.
Yeah.
Don't be disrespectful to him. And according to Dylan Morganson calmly walks out of the house to his car. Except that the car leaves. The car doesn't leave calmly. It speeds away.
And according to Dylan Mortensen, just calmly leaves.
Noticeably.
And according to Dylan Smorgasbord, wait, what?
According to Dylan Morganson,
Peterson. Dylan Peterson, like fucking Scott Peterson over here, this lying woman here. He just leaves so calmly and just whoop on to the next. See you later. That was great. Dylan Peterson, Morgan, doesn't matter. Dylan, just call her DM.
calmly walks out of the house to his car. Except that when the car leaves, the car doesn't leave calmly. It speeds away, noticeably faster than when it came and went earlier.
Yeah. What's probably more likely, I would think, is that car left while Xana and Ethan were being killed is the more likely, right?
I have no idea. I can't answer that because in fact, if we're looking at it from a factual
That's
standpoint,
what it would look like to me too. Somebody got the hell up out of there.
we cannot factually connect that car to the crime.
Exactly. There you go. We cannot factually connect that car to the crime. Okay. Exactly. It's the undercovers, baby.
There's nothing connects it.
Right. It just went by.
Right. Okay. So I can't go to what you're suggesting there.
Oh,
Again,
no. What I'm saying is we see the car
mhm,
passing in front of 1112
right.
while the murders were going on.
Or quickly, very quickly after they had just been completed.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
I still don't even believe that it could be after. You guys, it could be so after because somebody was there and saw the shit and are like, oh my God, and get the hell up out of there, you know?
Here, a question that I've had is, and maybe you can clarify this. It's my understanding that only that Kaylee and Maddie's blood was not found in Xana's room, and that Xana's blood or Ethan's blood was not found in Kaylee and Maddie's room, right?
Correct. The only blood transfers are Madison's and Kaylee's bloods that's found on the second floor, and Ethan's blood, which is found on the stairway.
So if the same person or persons that killed Maddie and Kaylee went down into and killed Xana and Ethan, would you not have expected to see some mixture of blood, some evidence of Kaylee and Maddie's blood? Because they would have been covered by it, wouldn't they?
You might think so, but I don't want to dodge the question. But again, I'm not an expert on blood and trying to analyze that. And I would think that there would be, but also it would depend on how much blood was on them in a fashion that would come off. I don't know.
What about their hand? But the gloves, the knife, the one weapon, you're stabbing somebody repeatedly with gloves on that will be saturated with blood.
Okay.
Chris, for the people that may not completely understand what a behavioral analysis or exactly what you do, can you kind of just walk us through that a little bit more? Because I want to make sure people understand the difference between, say, a profiler and what you do.
Well, it's simple. It's you have basic components to what you're working from. You have a crime scene. So you're analyzing the crime scene, what's the physicals of the crime scene, and the victimology. What's the physical evidence? What's the forensic analysis? What does that tell you? Then you're trying to look at that, and the behavior analysis then is just determining what occurred within the crime. What was the sequence of events? Who did what, and why did they do it? Profiling is drawing from that, then trying to identify characteristics of the actor based upon that analysis. So two different things.
And based on sort of the scope of what you were doing in trying to prove Dr. Turvey's theory wrong, you couldn't form any, or you didn't form any opinions about there being like more than two individuals, for example. It was just that it wasn't one person that committed this crime.
Could there have been more than in my opinion? No, I never looked at that. It wasn't an issue. I don't know why there would be more than two, but I couldn't answer that in that regard. The simple matter was, we have Brian Kohlberger. Was there more than one person involved? And the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm. And more than one murder weapon.
Multiple murder weapons, yes. There are actually 4 wound profiles if you look at the autopsies. Okay. And by that we mean when it was stab or slashes made, what are the profiles of that cut? Okay. So on a knife, a typical knife, if you had a K-bar, you should get, you would have a what we call a sharp end of the wound, and we have a blunt end because the K-bar has a thick spine. So you would have a sharp edge and a blunt end to that cut. Okay, so that's a profile, and there were actually I think 4 different profiles of the weapons.
Okay, well, let's talk about that then, because you saw the autopsy reports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I think there's a excerpts from your report or from a report that was attributed to you in the book. So
okay, so like this is where I'm just. So Brent Turvey basically went to Ann Taylor and said, we need to bring on Chris Holland. I am blown away that supplemental report. We're going to come back to this a second. What in Sam fucking hell was going on around here? Why is Ann Taylor asking in January of 2022? I mean, 2025. Supplemental report, the 22nd supplemental report. All Othram lab protocols, policy and procedures, and validation studies in place in December of 2022 as testified about by Matthew Gammett on 1/23/2025. All Othram lab materials created, collected, and were pursuant to the policy and protocols in place as testified by Matthew Gammett. Remember this? This request includes but not limited to all bench notes, all documents and records produced to the FBI, including but not limited to documents and records from Othram, Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police, all written notes, records, emails, research, and or documentation of any kind by Matthew Gammett regarding his efforts to research and obtain voluntary DNA to assist Othram's work to identify the contributor of the DNA on the sheath, all written notes, reports, records, recordings, or emails related to Vicky Gooch's investigation, interviews, and any efforts made to obtain voluntary DNA to assist Othram's work to identify the contributor of the DNA on the sheath, a copy of all records the FBI received from Othram, including but not limited to all records relating to the entry into the database GEDmatch. I'm confused at this because it's like this was handled, I thought, so long ago. Copy of all GEDmatch file. This is part of the interest. Okay. Identify of FBI analysts creating the SMP utilized by the FBI and its generic. Dude, they still have they're like, we're not giving you that. We're not telling you who did this. Process used by FBI analysis creating the SMP profile utilized by the FBI and its generic genealogy investigating. Identity of the FBI, IgG, FIGG analysts performing the genetic genealogy investigation. Results for the IgG search. All work done by any FBI analyst, investigator, officer, anything to do with FIG. Any and all communication between Moscow PD, Latah County prosecutors, Idaho State Attorney General, or FBI with Othram Labs regarding the SNP testing and genetic genealogy research conducted by Othram after 12/10/2022. She was on the same path as I was. There you go. There it is, Ann. Why didn't you put this motherfucker in? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Ann was like, Othram is still the lab. Just because hell yeah, Ann. You guys, this is crazy. Okay. This goes in after the hearing on 1/23/2025. Okay. Then when I didn't think that was just nuts enough, then we have holy shit, we're going to be putting together so much crap. What's this shit? Oh, okay. Heather Barnhart. Miss Barnhart is a director for a company called Cellbrite. Her disclosure is satisfactory. No objection. That is on 1/2/2025. That changes or something. Jared. Mr. Barnhart is specialized. Mr. Barnhart is a specialist for Cellbrite. His disclosure is also satisfactory. Michael Douglas is a forensic accountant for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The state indicates he is a lay witness, but suggests he may stray into expertise. Although they provide no opinions or methodologies. This he might be an expert disclosure does not pass the ICR 16. The state discloses 8 areas of financial transactions for 7 people that he will testify to, but does not explain what those financial transactions are or what his opinions are about the transactions. He is listed as the person who will testify about quote unquote defendants Amazon.com click history, but not what the opinion is or what data he relies upon to form the opinion. Anthony Immel. Agent Immel is an expert because he uses a forensic audio, video, and image analysis program. Fuck yeah. Fuck yes. I love it, you guys. I could be a goddamn expert. Okay. This is fucking crazy. This is nuts, dude. Absolutely nutsville. Holy shit balls. Holy shit balls, you know? My God. My God. You gotta love that thumbnail. There is blood and shit all over the Idaho water tower. That is a mix of blood and shit. You know why? Because this is just a bunch of shit. That's why. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs down. I don't give a shit. Do something. Hey, this is just the biggest pile of shit. That needs to be the title of this fucking live. I need to go in and change it. This is just a pile of shit. It is not clear if that is an actual business name or his area of expertise. Oh my God. Do you see the snark in this shit? You guys see what the fuck? Look at this. Anthony Immel. Agent Immel is an expert because he uses a forensic audio, video, and image analysis program, end quote. This is in quotes. Okay, thank you so much. I totally know this is Ashley Jennings' work. This is so Ashley Jennings' work. It is not clear if that is an actual business name or his area of expertise. No information has been provided about the program, if it is an actual scientific program. While the defense understands that Agent Immel decided that videos and pictures of a car were a particular make, model, year of a car, it remains unclear precisely which videos and pictures he relies on for his opinions, which seem to evolve throughout his work on this case, and what expanded known information referenced in his report he reviewed on November 26, 2022. Love it. Oh my God, these people. Here she is, the booty sign-in bitch, Catherine Mabutt. Miss Mabutt is an attorney and elected coroner. She testified at the grand jury as to the wounds. Oh my God, what? Oh my God. She did what? She testified to the wounds on the bodies at the grand jury. Why? Oh my God. You guys, this is absurd. Do you guys know what the coroner in Bonner's Ferry does? He transports the body. Okay? He's not examining. My butt can sign my motherfucking ass. This is nuts. She is not a forensic medical examiner, and the testimony that the state proffers is beyond her expertise. The opinions provided in the disclosure are not her own. Oh my God, I love it. There is no methodology disclosed. The state refers to the defense to her grand jury testimony as its expert disclosure. The state refers to the defense to her expert. Oh my God. Lawrence Mowry. Detective Mowry is disclosed as an expert in the field of digital forensics generally. He doesn't know shit. The state writes, quote unquote, this disclosure is provided as an aid. It does not encompass all finding, impressions, conclusions, or materials related to this expert's involvement in the case. The state then provides a list of 53 possible electronic devices and third-party accounts he might have an opinion on. If the state would like him to provide an opinion at trial, it will have to disclose each, the specific opinion, the data relied upon, and the methodology. I cannot believe Hippler's ass. Vina Singh. Dr. Singh is a forensic medical examiner. Her disclosure is acceptable, but only draws more into question why the state is disclosing Ms. Mabud, whose opinions go further than Dr. Singh. Who the fuck wrote this? This is amazing. What? Oh. As a certified wound RN, I'm offended at the thought of Mabut being a fellow member. Paulette Sutton. Here she comes. Paulette Sutton. Ms. Sutton is an expert on crime scene reconstruction and bloodstain pattern analysis. Ms. Sutton's disclosure provides a report, and the state sets forth 6 additional areas, some with subparts, but no methodology or underlying data. Why, for example, does Ms. Sutton opine that the diluted blood found outside the rooms had to be done by the same person that created them? This is so Jay's work. Is this Jay? Hold on. Oh my God. Jeffrey Tanzola. Agent Tanzola is also offered as a digital forensic expert. And again, the state provides seven electronic devices belonging to Mr. Kohlberger on which Agent Tanzola will offer an expert opinion on. This is not permitted by the rule and does not count as a disclosure for the same reasons raised related to number 10 above on Detective Mowry. No opinions are disclosed, no specific data being relied upon to disclose an opinion, and no methodology is disclosed. He didn't write a report. Like, nobody wrote a goddamn report. Neil, he's a Freemason. Detective Urig is also a digital forensic expert. The state lists 7 electronic devices he might have an opinion about. The devices belong to Kaylee. Kaylee's phone has never gotten into ever by the Freemason in fucking CDA. Shut the fuck up. He had her phone. Xana, Mogan, Funk, and Mortensen. Oh, hell. And we leave it with this corrupt Freemason right here. This man's a Freemason. Promise. Go check my post back in the day. It's all there. He leads the Freemasons. Wow. Janine Ayers, Catherine, all these people. Experts 15 to 25 are forensic scientists who examine the crime scene, the DNA evidence, STR data, STR mixed probability status, blah, blah, blah. The state provides not a single specific opinion. Mr. Colbert is instructed to figure it out for himself, reviewing various Bates numbered pieces of discovery as an aid. The state then insists each may opine and testify about anything else they want. Anything else they want. Oh, fucking shit. The state then insists each may opine and testify about anything else they want, as well as offer other experts' opinions. You guys, Grand fucking Trick, are going to be here a long time tonight. The data relied upon, the methodology, and the scientific methods are not disclosed with these experts. We have a motion to motherfucking compel this material, damn it. I can't believe this had to be filed under seal. Like, what a bunch of bullshit. Okay, here you guys go. Here's your proof that Jack Decor's latents were not grabbed until like last minute. Here you go. It was in supplemental 21st supplemental, only had 2. And it was, hey, can we get those high quality photographs or scans of the latent prints of Jack Decor collected in this case? Scans should be made at a minimum resolution of 1000 ppi and saved in a non-proprietary, non-destructive format such as TIFF, no compression. Images should be individually scanned and not submitted in a multi-page format. The photographs or scans must include both sides of any lift cards. Scans of the backside of the lift card that only include text or diagrams may be done at lower resolutions and saved in any non-proprietary format such as JPEG or PDF. If the fingerprints were only photographed or scanned, as is the case for the fingerprints developed with dye stains or chemical processes, then copies of the original digital image files should be submitted. Any enhanced images used for comparison should be also included. A scale should be included in each photograph or scan. Results of testing and compressions conducted in this case. Ready for the results, guys. This was filed on January 2nd, 2025. January 2nd, 2025. Ready? And the survey says, well, let's see. Here we go. Boom. Wait, this one. Okay. State's response. The state's responses are provided in the blue. The state will continue to supplement its discovery. Well, this item does not exist. He was the fucking suspect. This item does not exist. To date, the latent prints for Jack Decor have not been collected. The state will attempt to collect Jack Decor's latent prints, and if collected and analyzed, will provide this item upon receipt. Then we got into, hey, these are our disclosures. Wait, oh shit balls, hold on. Let me get down to this is the motion to compel, like all the notes. But hang tight. I think at the end, does she go to like, I gotta go through all these, but yeah, no. Okay. Idaho messy. Idaho, this is just ridiculous. I mean, this is just top notch, guys. Stop making fun. Okay, this is the best of the best. Then we have, if that wasn't good enough for you guys, we have, don't worry. We have Ashley Jennings coming and saving the day. and says, here we go. Lawrence Mowry. This is this amended shit. Okay. So Lawrence Mowry. The state has disclosed Lawrence Mowry, forensic detective for the Moscow Police Department, in supplemental discovery. It's anticipated the state will call Detective Mowry to testify generally as an expert in the field of digital forensics, in addition to testifying in areas not requiring special expertise, such as search warrant applications, etc. This notice serves to supplement the information Detective Mowry's reports by summarizing areas of anticipated testimony, but does not repeat the specific findings that are detailed in his reports. In addition to this summary, Detective Mowry may testify to any of the subjects identified in his reports and may identify and testify to chain of custody. This motherfucker doesn't know shit. Or extractions. Get the fuck out of here. He doesn't know any of this shit. He didn't. Wait till you see what, based upon Detective Mowry's experience and training, which is detailed in his CV, Detective Mowry will discuss extraction, imaging, examinations, processing, verification, transportation, and chain of custody. It is anticipated he could testify in the following areas: the 1112 King Road surveillance, 1122 King Road router interrogation. What? And records associated, including but not limited to the charter communications account information. What is the 1122 King router interrogation? What is that? Who did he interrogate the router? I'm just curious. Did this man interrogate the router? Please, somebody. That explains it. Shit on the water tower. Yeah, it's just fucking mess. That's why there's shit on the water tower. It's the perfect cover. You guys, when did the router get interrogated? Okay? Can somebody please explain that to me? Mowry and Payne couldn't tell us anything when they had to testify in the pretrial hearing. They don't know anything. This is the IP address we're working with. Private networks, Mac Airbook belonging to Kaylee. Mac Airbook belonging to Dylan. Mac Air belonging to Xana. MacBook Air belonging to Maddie. Dell belonging to Madison. Dell Precision belonging to Kaylee, including but not limited to Extreme Networks account information. iPad belonging to Bethany. iPad belonging to Dylan. Or I'm sorry, iPhone. Remember everybody was wondering what kind of phones they all had? Here you go. Dylan, iPhone. Bethany, iPhone. Chapin, iPhone for fucking Eric Gower. Oh, guess what? We have to scratch Jack Decor or Jack Showalter. iPhone belonging to Showalter. Item removed as this item does not exist and was erroneously included. iPhone belonging to Kaylee. What are you going to testify about that? It's not, to this day, it hasn't been gotten into. iPhone belonging to Maddie. iPhone belonging to Xana. Now we have Emily's phone. What the hell? We have Emily's phone? iPhone XR belonging to Jack Decor. Amazon accounts associated with the defendant. Apple iCloud accounts belonging to defendant Bethany, Funk, Dylan Mortensen, Jack Decor, Kaylee, Madison, Ethan, and Xana. We have Apple and iCloud accounts belonging to these people. You guys, what's in them? We have AT&T records associated with defendant, then Showalter, Madison. This is why what's his name says it's all bullshit. Cyree. Because they were after Showalter, and so that would have preserved the data. DoorDash records associated with Ethan Chapin, Xana, and Molly McMichaels. Dropbox accounts associated with defendant. Google Gmail accounts belonging to defendant and Kaylee. Kaylee is the only Google we got? Shut up. Wait, what? You guys know that Gmail goes like step by step by step. If they have their app on to be able to get their emails, you can get somebody's exact location, and you can get their movement, the phone's movement anyways. Holy shit. There's a geofence for latitude, longitude points. This point, and then this point, and then this point, and then that point. Okay, let's take a look at where those all are. Okay, let's put those in. Okay. I think that one is I want to do this one down here, the last one, and 0.4, which is 46.721584. Wait, what? That's at 1320 Linda Lane. Hold on. It's like right on top of that. Okay. Well, what's the one that's at? Let's try this one. Did I already do these before? 46.722572 negative. What? No Google results found? No way. Let's try this one. 46. That's 721613. What the fuck? Please tell to fuck all the way off into the sun, as Kaylee had nothing taken from her. Well, I have a message to relay. Miss Potts cracks me up. Lana, driving and listening to you. Can you explain what you're looking at, please? Well, I was typing in these geolocations to see where they're at. Yeah, I already told everybody, you guys, nobody was pregnant. I already said this. Anybody, you guys do know that. Like, there's nobody that was pregnant. You guys been reading like the autopsies and like fucking A. So okay. Match Tinder accounts belonging to defendant Kaylee and Madison. Meta accounts belonging to Bethany, Dylan, Ethan, Madison, Jack Decor, Kaylee. Microsoft OneDrive accounts with defendant. Reddit accounts belonging to defendant and C, just Kaylee. Why would you only go after Kaylee's and why would it be so early? Somebody knew he had that Reddit. Snapchat accounts belonging to Maddie, Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, Kaylee, Ethan, Jack Decor. Look at he's in everything. They're like, he's our guy. He did it. Jack Decor's our guy. Let me tell you something. Jack Decor being their guy should tell you to run from Jack Decor. Promise. TikTok accounts belonging to Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Dylan, Bethany, Ethan. T-Mobile Records associated with Dylan and Kaylee. Tower Dump Records for Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Inland Cellular. Twitter accounts belonging to the defendant. Twitter only for him? Nobody, they didn't go out for any, so none of these girls use Twitter. Uber Records belonging to Eric Gower. Why not Lyft? Verizon Records associated with Ethan, Bethany, and Jack Decor. Yahoo accounts belonging to Kaylee. Yik Yak defendant. YouTube accounts belonging to defendant. This number account records associated with Molly McMichaels. Oh my God, Molly, we have your number now. Molly, we're calling you right now. God damn it. Fuck yeah, Molly. Oh my God. Oh, Molly. You guys, I promise you, Molly doesn't have that number anymore. That girl's probably been through 5, okay? Molly, are you there? Molly. And then we got computer tower belonging to defendant. Samsung cellular model belonging to defendant. SIM card belonging to defendant. Hard drive defendant. You guys, they went through all of this stuff, all this shit. Ooh, the data from the Hyundai Elantra. And nothing, like, hello, you got the data. What, you can't put the car over there at 1122? This disclosure is provided as an aid. How the fuck does this aid me, motherfucker? It does not encompass all findings, impressions, conclusions, or materials related to this expert's involvement in the case. I'm not asking what his involvement in the case is. He doesn't have any expert opinion. It further does not in any way limit the scope of the expert's testimony. Detective Mowry is not a fucking expert, goddammit. Further, this witness may testify about findings, impressions, and or conclusions that he drew from the work of other experts who previously Wait, excuse me? Finally, you guys, he is allowed, okay? Further, this witness may testify about findings, impressions, and or conclusions that he drew from the work of other experts who previously examined or handled the evidence in question. This is how they were going to get in all of the car shit. And Ann Taylor was going to say, objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation. Objection, Your Honor. Calls for more speculation. This is crazy. This is why I'm all about the documents. I mean, do you understand somebody reading this would be like, what the fuck did I just read? This, so he's allowed to speculate. Detective Mowry has a pass to speculate. Unreal. All right, we went through that one. Crazy. Okay, exhibit. This is all I cared about was the first 4 pages because the 75 page, I'm going to do that in and of its own live with like the autopsy. But I will just tell you this about the first 4 pages of this autopsy report. Not really, it's just, let me show you how they did this. I can't even believe it's done like this. This is fucking crazy. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Again, this is 75 pages, but the first 4 pages is all that I want to talk about. Please note, additions to the expert disclosure filed on December 18, 2024 are italicized below. So it was like, and this is for their ME. The state has disclosed Vina Singh, Spokane County Chief Medical Examiner and Forensic Pathologist in the supplemental discovery response. It is anticipated that the state will call her to testify as an expert regarding the autopsy performed at the Spokane County Medical Examiner's office on November 16th on the following individuals. This response serves to supplement the information in the autopsy reports for Ethan, all of them. Photographs and or video. They had a video. Oh my gosh. Awful. And related reports as previously discovered to the defense. The below is a summary of Dr. Singh's anticipated testimony, but does not repeat all specific findings that are detailed in her reports. Based on Dr. Singh's education, training, and experience, she will testify to performing the postmortem examinations. Now, this is what they added. Look at this, all this added right here. All this. It is expected that Dr. Singh will testify that Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Madison Mogan, those 3, endured a high degree of pain and or suffering prior to their deaths as a result of the injuries inflicted. Oh my God. Hobby Master sends out 5 Truth and Transparency memberships. Crazy. 592 up in here. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here. If you guys got a membership, it's because of Hobby Master. Hobby Master, welcome. Welcome, new members. Yes. They gave a plea deal. It is expected that Dr. Singh will testify that Ethan also experienced a high degree of pain and or suffering prior to his death as a result of the injuries inflicted, but to a lesser degree than the others. I'm telling you, why do I feel like Ethan and Xana were killed first? Well, Anna, I know why you feel that way, because you are uncovering the actual timeline of all of this shit. Okay. Dr. Singh will testify regarding chain of custody, observations, examinations, evidence collected, tests performed, and cause of death. Unbelievable. It is Dr. Singh's expert opinion that Ethan Chapin's cause of death is multiple sharp force injuries. Dr. Singh's postmortem examination showed a well-developed adult male with stab and incised wounds of the scalp, face, and neck, a stab wound of the upper chest, incised wounds of the upper extremities, stab and incised wounds of the lower extremities, associated injuries to each perforations of the jugular vein, subclavicle vein, and subclavicle artery. This is just so fucking awful, man. Dr. Singh will testify there was no evidence of, thank you, natural disease that would have contributed to Ethan's death. Thank you. Postmortem toxicology showed Chapin had a blood alcohol concentration 0.122 amphetamines. In addition, Dr. Singh will provide testimony regarding evidence that the knife used, just one, on Chapin showed indications that there was a blade guard a blade guard. Dr. Singh will provide her opinion that Chapin's wounds are consistent with a single-edged knife. Single-edged. As the source of the wounds. She will provide her opinion that the use of a K-bar knife, full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife is consistent with the injuries observed. Is consistent, but is not the weapon. Is consistent. It could be other things, couldn't it? Yes, it could. That's what she would have testified to. It is Dr. Singh's expert opinion that Kaylee, cause of death, you see how she cannot say the order of anybody's death? It is Dr. Singh's expert opinion that Kaylee's cause of death is multiple sharp force injuries. In addition, blunt forced injuries of the head and axial injuries are significant contributor to her death. These are significant contributors. Dr. Singh's postmortem examination showed a well-developed adult female with SAB. Yep. We need that. I'm not reading that. Associated injuries include punctures of the outer table of the skull. Wow. Injuries to her teeth. God, her tongue. Jesus. Fucking sick. Fuck all involved. This is just awful. Her nose, a nasal fracture, as well as scrapes on the nose and cheeks. Interesting. Bruising around the eyes. I wonder if that was and patterned bruises extending across the lower face. Dr. Singh will testify that an unidentified object was pressed across Kaylee's mouth. So when people say like being like, you know, asphyxiate, like, I mean, couldn't that be some, this is horrible. Oh God. See, like Kaylee was just barely over. Like, what is it? 0.08. Look at Kaylee was not drunk. Look at this. Kaylee's wounds are consistent with a single-edged and or double-edged knife being the source of the wounds. Double-edged knife. Dr. Singh will provide her opinion that the use of a K-bar is consistent with the injuries observed. Well, one of them. I mean, how could it be? I can't even argue with these people. They're just. It is Dr. Singh's expert opinion that Xana. Look at this with a single or double. In addition, the handle and or tip of the knife could account for the appearance. Wow. It's interesting one opine that this could be caused by Xana fighting and or touching the knife or hand that is holding the knife causing the injury. Oh my God, that's and just like the tip of it because you're grabbing it. Oh my gosh. See, Maddie. Such a single provider opinion that Mogan's wounds are consistent with a single edge knife as a source. Where's the defensive wounds? I thought she had like defensive wounds. Dr. Singh will testify that a single large blade, single or double edged knife could be responsible for all wounds observed on Chapin. But a single large blade, single or double edged. But not the same one. Can you testify that it was the same one? Dr. Singh's opinion testimony will be based on her expertise, education, blah, blah. And it goes into each of these, which I am not going to go through. You guys can do that. But I'm going to go to this other report. This is awful. Which if we go to, God, which one is it? The one that I want. Okay, take a look. So dated 23rd of January. You see how what's his name's not on here? Like Holland's not on here. See that? This is the comes now Brian C. Kober through his attorney and record and hereby submits their supplemental response to request for discovery reading regarding expert witnesses. The under seal exhibits are being provided to opposing counsel in the court on the date of the motion with exhibits belonging to be okay. FM drive, okay. And is this for the what day? Is this for her witness list? Okay, wait till you see this. All right. We were supposed to see from so many more people, but Ann Taylor didn't call them to the stand. We were supposed to see from Blaker potentially and Talbot, and she just doesn't bring it. Like, take a look at this. This is disclosures for the hearing on January 23rd for the motion to suppress. As this comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and discloses the following exhibits. So this is from the prosecutor's office, Idaho State Police, P's dated November 29th, 2022, and included attachments attached here to Exhibit S1. This is about the phones. I swear to God, because that's the date of that. I mean, affidavit of Michael D. Lang attesting to State's Exhibit S5 attached to the December 6th, 2024 State's objection to defendant's motion to suppress and memorandum in support. RE Pennsylvania search warrant. Then numerous exhibits and affidavits have been filed with parties, pleadings, and briefings on the motions to be heard. Expert witness will be David Middleman. So we see him. And then his purchasing. Oh, this is the purchasing order on the 29th. That's right. Rush FGGS snip panel. And then Idaho State, you guys, Idaho State Police contract. Project UI Moscow. And this was vendor number, purchase order date 11/29/2022. And we just thought that was an invoice. Okay. But this is like a purchase order. So was that the day? Like, I just have so many questions about this now because before, I mean, this is a rush. Valid for 30 days. Look at this date, 11/25. Forensic DNA testing for DNA evidence, which will generate an S&P profile that can be used for one-to-one comparison or genealogy search. The deliverable is a file that can be uploaded to the database. Rush service features 4 to 5 week turnaround time. I hate tell them to stop, motherfuckers. Contract pricing for ISP includes S&P panel plus records research plus database upload, previously agreed upon rates. Do you see this? And so that's when it's like, where is all of this shit that you're supposed to get back with your contract? Why didn't Ann Taylor like fucking flex on these motherfuckers? God damn. I'd have been throwing my titties all over that room. Maybe it's just me. I'd have been losing my bra. Okay, in Billy's face. Hoffy says 5 more people, you're going to turn green. We're on our way to making babies over here. Taking off our bras and shit. Bill Thompson losing it. But Lana, just read that the injury suggests more than one weapon was used. 1000%. I mean, you're not gonna. You do not gotta fight me on this, guys. You're not gonna see me sitting here arguing that that this was one person. Okay. One person would, if it was one person, it's all these rooms had locked doors. Nobody could get out. Nobody had cell phones. And that there was none of this, 12-minute time frame. And then this person went in there like Rambo. Okay. Yeah. It's just this timeline. I mean, Vargas told me, she's like, Lana, you're right. Where's the purchase order? After you do this, there's another purchase order that should be when you have to upload it and you have to pay like $700. She's like, where's that bill? Where's the $700 that you, or when you're uploading it into as a law enforcement kit? There's another, you're going to have a receipt on that. And she's like, and that takes a couple of days just to do that. How to budget for big casework. The budget for developing investigative leads using forensic genetic genealogy varies based to the quality of the who wrote this shit, man. Idaho, y'all can't spell. DNA extraction, $849 per item. DNA extraction from evidence or skeletal remains, $849. Case review, $0 per case. Proprietary QI, $499 per case. Author's proprietary QI assessment. Mixture mitigation, $2,499 per sample if needed. Forensic grade sequencing, $249 per item. This is assessment and suitability. But it came to them already, I thought. Then developing an S&P profile. See this S&P testing, 0 to 399 per test. Test candidate relationship between individuals using an S&P panel. A report will be issued for each can S&P test based on the results of the predicted relationship. Records research leverages Altham's proprietary tools and data sets and public resources to assist human identification from a DNA profile. Flat rate per case, $2,500 per case to do that portion of it. Database upload service, $1,750 per profile. DNA database upload services include the upload of the profile to GEDmatch and Family Tree DNA databases if needed, and this report that confirms successful upload and initial assessment. Where is all of this shit? Okay, here's all the phases. This is awesome shit. And this is some other motherfucker shit. This is David Middleman stuff. You guys, they did not mail that shit to the FBI until, or like to say, like, here, you guys can begin to work on it until at least December 10th. Remember, I was like, because I'm putting together this timeline. December 10th. Oh, which one's this? This is what we need. We need defendant's witness and exhibit list for motions hearing on 123 defendant's list. Where the fuck is that? Oh god, this one's 52 pages. Oh, this is the one. Okay, here. Okay. You guys, I cannot even believe it. I'm going to read to you. Defendant's witness and exhibit list for motions hearing on 1/23/2025. This is for the suppression hearing. Although not necessarily in the same order, but here's everybody, okay? Fucking Captain Dustin Blaker. Exactly. Why didn't he get called? Why did Blaker not get called to the stand? Anybody? Anybody know why this wouldn't happen? He was on the list and Blaker doesn't get called. Then Captain Blaker's anticipated testimony relates to items that he relied upon in his affidavit for probable cause for arrest and search warrants, as well as video footage identified during the course of the investigation. This is what did Ann Taylor, what? You guys, what the fuck? This is who you need to call to the stand. You need to ask him about why he is not writing any reports and how anybody could rely on any work, because nobody could have known what he worked on and did or anything until after these search warrants were wrote up. You're trying to suppress shit, and nobody could know anything that he did and could rely on for search warrants because there's no reports until after these motherfuckers were wrote. I don't understand. I just don't get it. Hey, Lana. Hi, everyone. Insane. Absolutely insane. Poor guy gets no credit. This is crazy to watch this shit. Then we have Detective Lawrence Mowry. I mean, Ann Taylor just called Detective Payne. Detective Mowry's anticipated testimony relates to items to what he relied on to prepare his affidavits for search warrants, service of warrants, warrant inventories, and warrant returns, as well as video footage identified during the course of the investigation. Additionally, Detective is anticipated to testify about what he relied upon in his CAS Viz process. Detective Corporal Brett Payne. And she just calls him fuck out of here. Matthew Gamet, Riley Nolan. Mr. Kober has previously filed exhibits and affidavits with his pleadings. He will utilize those items in his hearing. Expert witnesses. Leah Larkin, Daniel. A PowerPoint by Leah Larkin and her. We didn't even fucking hear from Leah Larkin. Leah Larkin just doesn't fucking. We could expect Dr. Larkin is about to testify about the IgG materials and in understanding how the state identified Mr. Kober as a suspect in the case. Dr. Larkin will testify about terms of use for various genetic genealogy databases as well as Department of Justice policy. She is expected to discuss the FBI search being outside of both database policy and DOJ policy. Maybe she felt like, I don't need to call anybody else because Payne gave me what I needed. Payne said we did not know Brian Kober's name until December 19th. And so you knew that it came from the IgG. Yes. So in Ann's defense, she's like, what do you want me to call these other fuckers to the stand for? Because he just gave me the material. You know what I mean? Like, she's over here thinking, like, what do I need to call these other people probably for? Like, he just admitted everything that we needed him to admit to. And so therefore you do not have, I mean, I think you needed to maybe lay it out better, which is, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at your statements here. You knew that this was false, right? When you wrote it, because this isn't how you got to Brian Kober, right? Because you didn't start looking into anything to do with Brian until what? You get what I'm saying? Like, so like these, I'm telling you, these defense attorneys have to take a new play out of they have to make a new playbook. Because it's just not. And then look at this. Who prepares a fucking exhibit like this? Which would have been a really good exhibit, I guess. But I mean to say how genetic genealogy works, how forensic genetic genealogy differs, work products of genetic genealogy, how genetic genealogy works, forensic genealogy differs, work. I mean, I don't know if that was just a, and then here it like lays out and it's like, there are 3 main types of DNA. Genetic genealogy begins with a DNA kit. Yep. Exactly. The scientific test is called a microarray. Yep. Your person of interest has a family tree. Here's your person of interest. They have a mother, a father, a grandmother, a grandfather on this side, a great grandmother, a great grandfather, a great. So both different sides. This is your person of interest has a family tree. Your person of interest has DNA matches. So it could be like DNA, like see these matches over here? The database lists the DNA matches. Shared DNA is measured in, so right here, shared. And when you have the match list sorts by CM, not by biological relationship. So you don't know where they're at. Relationship is loosely correlated to CM total. The database lists the DNA matches. Many matches do not post trees. Some matches use aliases or have common names. Yeah, because that's what I want to do with Vargas. I was like, I want to make my own name up, and I want it to be like fucking Susan Boyle. Okay, Susan Boyle. Do you guys know who that is? Look her up, okay? And so the point of all of this was to show you think that they got to Brian Colbert doing this shit. Susan Boyle, that's who I want to put in. So she's like, do you understand that many matches do not post their trees? And then some matches use aliases or have common names like, Mark Smith. We build a research tree for the matches. So here's going to be match 1, here's match 2, and then you have to find who these people are related to. We are looking for common ancestors. Okay, John Smith, Mary Jones, John Smith, Mary Jones. Exactly. We trace descendant lines to find candidates. Okay. We trace descendant lines to find candidates. Some more. Okay. We analyze trees with what are the odds? Okay. Oh my God, this is so funny. Hypothesis 8, hypothesis 9, 3, 5. Oh my God, it's a mess. Okay. It's like a fucking puzzle. Okay. A jigsaw puzzle. Strategic testing is often needed. Dude, this is like the never ending story. Okay. Oh my God. Fuck all that, right? How genetic genealogy works, how, forensic DNA is usually lower quality, less DNA available. DNA may be a mixture of more than one person. DNA may be degraded. Non-human DNA contamination may be present. Next generation, prep, sequence, analyze. Next generation sequencing skims the DNA. Fill in missing SNPs using statistics. Strip out SNPs not using by. Once the kit is uploaded and processed, the genealogy steps are the same as described earlier. Fewer databases allow forensic kits. So estimates as of August of 2023, as you can see. So it's like Ancestry, nope. 23andMe, nope. MyHeritage, nope. Family Tree DNA. Gray bar indicates kits opted into forensic genealogy matching. So your pool is so small. And then they went into a pool that they're not supposed to be in over here. MyHeritage or Ancestry DNA. Which one did they go into? Match lists. And then all this shit starts popping up. research tree. And so what this is to show is, do you understand how long this takes? And if you don't keep records like this, you're not matching anybody. Like, and so I said to Gabrielle Vargas, I said, could they have hid behind IgG? She's like, what do you mean? I said, well, talk about a great way to like pump up IgG is to act like you did it and found him through that, but you really didn't. And you're going to hide behind it. And she says, absolutely, exactly. I was like, so do you think that could have happened? She said, yeah, I do. If you don't have any of your work, yeah, because you could not do this and not have your work. Who would ever do all this work and then just light it on fire? Okay. Like, and so I was like, no, I'm being serious. I think that they hid behind IgG. Do you know how much she's like, why? She was so shocked that I said that because of like, she's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, I'm not talking to anybody. Why the fuck are you asking me that? She's like, well, you just know how all this shit works. Really, like, I mean, and I'm like, yeah. And what it doesn't make sense is that this would take a while. And she's like, fuck yeah, I wouldn't have, hell yeah. Unless you have like a bang and match, man, this shit doesn't, she's like, when do they try to say that this happened? I was like, well, they say it. She's like, when's the receipt of it getting put into the law enforcement kit? When's that receipt? The FBI said their policy was to delete all of their work. Yeah, but that comes way later, after it gets to the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutor has all shit. They take it out of the they take it out of this. They just take it out of the database. They don't delete their work. They're not supposed to delete the work, like all this type of shit here. It just comes out of the database. If it was a law enforcement uploaded kit, I believe. And so, written report. Date, body was found, race, gender, estimated age, estimated location, description. Your written report, agency of jurisdiction, like all of this shit. Like, where is this? Where's all of this? This is what this was all about, is to say, like, none of this is there. Forensic cases should also produce original microwave data. Yep. Results of the deconvolution if needed. Results of this process file for uploaded to genealogy databases. Yep. The contract with the databases and upload history. That's the big one. The one that you have to pay the money for. Logins or kit numbers for databases. And that they definitely had that. And they were just so far off. Like, they were so far away. And so what it was is like, here, shut it down, and we're going to let the FBI take over. That was just code for, hey, we understand that you have this relationship and you're under a contract with, FBI has a contract with Authram as well. But like, it's like, okay, they have to follow this policy. They're getting federal grant money. You know what I mean? So we have to shut it down through Idaho State Police Lab. And we need to do it through the FBI with Authram still at the ring, you know, running this shit. And for you guys to now open it up and go into every database. Scientific editing and grant writing. She writes grants, man. Hong Kong. Cambridge, Mass. She was doing that in 2011, 2015. I mean, this is something that just, when you're in this industry, all these people, it's a really small industry. And they all know what the fuck happened in this case. And it was just a bunch of cheating ass bullshit. When you say cheating, the word I'm using is cheating. It's just, you're not following the policies. You're doing whatever the fuck you want. And one should ask themselves why. So then the next thing we have here is, okay, so now I want to go back to, I want to close out with a little bit more of this.
Did you see, you said there were 4 different weapon profiles. Was one of them consistent with a K-bar knife?
Yes.
Okay. What were the others?
Oh, I don't remember. I think one was consistent with a dagger, a bayonet being sharp on both ends, or both edges being sharp. I believe there was one that was sharp and round. Maybe there was one. There might have been another one that was both edges were round or both edges were square. I don't recall.
What kind? So what kind of weapon would you, or instrument or implement would give you a sharp on one and round on the other?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with a knife or a cutting instrument like that.
Okay. That's interesting. And then we don't know what, there was blunt force trauma to Kaylee. We don't know what caused that.
No. I know a K-bar knife weighs 7/10 of a pound. I'm not certain that that's a heavy enough item to have been used to do that with. I think someone would actually have to do an experiment to make that determination.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's not enough.
All right. I know that we talked, when you and I talked before, that we talked a bit about the dog, Murphy.
Yes.
And you've got some thoughts and how Murphy and his barking helps us set the timeline here, right?
It absolutely does. Okay, so bear with me here. At 2:00 on Sunday morning, all 4 of our girls, in this case, Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, Kaylee Goncalves, and Madison Mogan, are on the 3rd floor in Kaylee's bedroom. And Kaylee and her boyfriend share this dog, a Labradoodle, I believe it is, some kind of a doodle, named Murphy. At 2:15 or thereabouts, Madison and Bethany take the dog outside. So the dog is always let out through the sliding glass doors in the kitchen, which are on the 2nd floor. Okay. At 2:15 on the video, you hear whistling and calling for the dog. The dog had a habit of running off if he wasn't on a leash. The dog ran off. Dog 15 on the video, 2nd floor. Okay. At 2:15 on the video, you hear whistling and calling for the dog. The dog had a habit of running off if he wasn't on a leash. The dog ran off. Bethany goes back to her bedroom. This is from Bethany's statement. She's in bed or watching something, and a few minutes later, Madison comes, knocks on the door. Have you seen the dog? The answer is no. So the dog is now out running around. We know from Dylan's statement at 2:45, she's gone to bed. We have Bethany in bed, and at 2:53, both Madison's and Kaylee's telephones go silent. That's the last calls were made right at 2:53. So we can now accept that at 2:53, now they have gone to bed.
No. Why are we accepting that? We don't even have we don't even have their phones. I do. We cannot accept that when we don't have Kaylee's phone. I'm sorry, we just cannot accept that. Why do we have to accept it? Why aren't we just saying that? So we don't have their phones to know that they don't take any more steps with those phones. Those phones don't move anymore. Because we're missing the most important question here, which is why did Maddie call Xana and Bethany at 2:53 back to back? Why aren't we talking about the loud ass scream at 2:51? Why aren't we talking about Molly McMichael over there? You guys want to talk about timelines?
So we have all the girls are in bed and we have the dog is outside. On the video at 4:17.
I just completely disagree with that. And I can disagree all day because I fucking go through the information and I have the information. And that's just not accurate. I'll argue that. There's no way. We need their phones. We don't have their phones. I want to know what information he's going off of.
30, give or take. You have the dog starts barking. We have the pong table and the screen. All these things happen within a matter of 10 seconds or so.
Mm-hmm.
So the dog is outside. The dog is barking, and it's not a let me in bark. It's an agitated bark. The dog doesn't stop barking till around 4:45. Even one of the witnesses who lives in the area said that Murphy's the only dog in the area. He had awakened about 4:15 when Murphy started barking. At 4:45, Murphy stops.
Yeah, but these are just I would love to have all these people just sit and listen to me talk for 8 hours and show them this timeline. And I mean, this is crazy.
Barking as if he's just been let into the house. Okay. So now we have, how did the dog get into the house? So now let's go back to the door, the sliding glass door.
Mm-hmm.
We have the offender leaving through that door at 4:20, right? Dylan sees the guy go out the door, but the dog can't get in the door. So the door obviously has been closed, or Murphy would have come back into the house. He would not have stayed outside barking. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mhm.
okay. But then
That's
when the
because
police
Murphy
arrive
barking.
at noon on Sunday, the door is open.
Which is so.
So how's the door get open? Someone lets the dog into the house at 4:45. And this goes back to Koberger has left.
Yeah.
So he wasn't the one standing there with the dog in the house.
According to Hippler, the dog just comes back in.
Yeah, I've said that.
And
I will do this like Dr. Turvey. Prove me wrong. If there's some logic, some flaw I'm making here, tell me.
Yeah, I would have been like, okay, I want to play devil's advocate. Why is Maddie calling Xana and Bethany at 2:52 and 2:53? And so why are we believing Bethany about this dog being missing? Isn't that kind of convenient? Like, let's say that.
yeah. So the at that point at 4:45, according to the official story, the only living people in the house were Dylan and Bethany, and they said they were asleep, even though their phones say different.
Well, correct.
Yeah. So what that means is the door, when Dylan, was it Dylan that claimed she saw the man in black go out the kitchen door, which was open?
Yes, she opened her door and she says the guy walked right past her. Yeah.
But that couldn't have happened because Murphy was out barking.
Well, I'm not going to say it could or couldn't. These are what logic tells me. If he walked out that door, then somebody closed the door.
Okay, close it.
Okay.
Either he closed it after him or someone in the
Yes,
house.
all we know is at some point that door is closed and the dog is still outside after that white car has left.
Yeah, which was at 4:20.
4:20, right around 4:20 and 30 seconds, somewhere in there. Yeah.
So almost a half hour after the white car left, somebody
And just so we're clear, Hippler says, well, just like the dog left out the slider, okay, then the dog came back into the slider. Nobody needed to like let the dog in. Why aren't we talking about the goddamn fucking car that rolls up at 429 and parks in the driveway? I mean, if we're going to just allow that 1112 King Road camera to tell us everything, that we can just say whatever we want because of that, like, I didn't realize that. I would have been like, this is all hearsay. We don't know where any of this is coming from. In fact, we would have to do tests to be like, in that house, why aren't you in that house? Dropping a, let's hear what these noises sound like. Okay. But I mean, this is absurd just to say like they went to bed at 2:53 because what are we talking about? Maddie makes a phone call at 2:52 and 2:53. Maddie is calling Bethany and Xana. She doesn't call somebody and just goes like this. Also, what are the steps on their phones? Like this does not need to be a guessing game. When's her last scrolling? When did she call her boyfriend to say goodnight? Like, you know how people like to sext and shit like that? She didn't text her boyfriend at all. She's not, even just saying goodnight, like, hey, I'm home in bed, like, miss you, wish you were here, like shit like that. I'm just blown away. I'm literally blown. I'm blown to bits over here. What kind of what kind of war rooms were they having? Because it seems like they weren't having any war rooms. It seems like all these experts are believing the witness statements, but they are all lying. Well, over the data, just like we don't have to listen to anything that these people say. It's like, what do the phones say? I've never seen a case more fucking hello. None of these phones take any more steps. They all fucking stop at the same goddamn time. Like, come on. I'm not going to sit here and fucking listen. This is crazy. So I don't know. I need to talk to these because I would have had a question, right? I mean, when he's like, prove me wrong, I'd be like, hell yeah, now let's play that game because I love that game. I ask people to do that with me all the time. Like, let's play that game. Okay, here. What? I don't care. I'll be like, I don't care what Bethany says and I don't care what Dylan says. So my question is were you provided these extractions that you could look and see what the movements are on these phones? In the phone moving doesn't mean that the person moved. I'm well aware of that. I want to know if the phone moved. And the answer is, I mean, did you have it or did you not? We need to know what material they're relying off of. I mean, so right now we're relying off of the noises on 1112's cameras. Well, we were doing that all day with Linda Lane, and people thought we were fucking ridiculous. You guys, that's all here. How is he going to say that that was a bark? That was an agitated bark. I mean, so Murphy just didn't bark at all when his master Kaylee is just fucking getting, I mean, for what? I don't know. How was Murphy just free to roam around? And like this whole thing that, so you think Murphy was lost outside? Let me get this straight. Murphy's lost outside from about 2:15, but Murphy just happens to like find the killer when the killer's leaving at 4:17 exactly. Come on. What in the fuck? Like, I got tons of questions. This is ridiculous. Do you understand? Does that make sense what I'm saying? You guys, he's saying the dog is let out. You hear the dog and there's like a bark and a whistle or some shit at 2:15. And then you say, I don't know what version they got. But so that means that Murphy was missing and not found the girls went to bed with Murphy missing? Does that make any sense to y'all? Because I know it doesn't make any sense to me. And yet Dylan still can't figure out how the cops found Murphy because he definitely wasn't in the house. You guys, we have so much information here. I don't know what they're going off of. Like we have I need to know. You think that Murphy was missing from 2:15 and then miraculously is there barking at 4:17. Then Murphy came in and nobody let Murphy in. Did the killer let Murphy in? So Jack Decor so basically what he's suggesting is that Jack Decor found Murphy, brought Murphy back, and then just went on a killing spree?
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
So almost a half hour after the white car left, somebody opened the door.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. So here, do you want to talk about the car?
Yes.
Let's talk about the car.
Yes.
All right. So, and there is no evidence connecting that car to this case. One of the questions I have about it is if the car is not connected to it, who was driving it, and why didn't you come forward and just say this was me? Here's where I was.
Mm-hmm.
That aside, the car. This is why I
But they did come forward on the 15th. Jacob Tisdall came forward and said that we were making loops around and we took like 3 of them and maybe even more. And we took the same loop every time. And he talks about it and he did a report on, November 15th. And he's claiming that car. You know that? The undercovers, the plain clothes, that they claimed the car.
tend to believe that the car was involved because of the behavior of the driver of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Because the car shows up at 3:30 and then it comes and goes from the neighborhood. It comes in, it stops, it waits 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, it drives out. Okay, we see on the video at 11:12, passes us, it's gone somewhere, right? So it comes and goes, 3 times, 4 times. Right at 4 o'clock, give or take, it shows up.
Yeah, but before that, we only have it till from midnight, from like 12:55. You guys, based on the timeline that's in the book from Bill Thompson, from the cops when they gave it to Bill Thompson, there's that white car starts so much earlier than that.
In at 4:05, it's driving back to go down. It goes down to the T intersection. Suddenly stops and makes a 3-point turn and comes back. All right. So as I look at that, that suggests to me that the driver is waiting for something.
Mm-hmm. A signal.
If the car is connected to the murder. Okay. Otherwise, I can't explain the behavior of this car.
Do we know that that's the same car that was seen at 4:20 leaving quickly?
I can't prove any of this. I'm reacting from the state's case that this is what the state is alleging. So that's what I'm working from.
Okay. So did the state talk about that car at 3:30?
I don't
remember that.
I mean, nobody thinks it's like ironic that the Linda Lane camera footage is missing from 3:30 to 4:05.
What I remember clearly is that 4 to 4:20 time frame. Obviously, what they focused on. I don't remember what they said about any earlier behaviors.
And I know this has been a big issue,
Molly McMichael,
at least recently or since the plea, that apparently the white car that was identified as Brian Koberger's had fog lights and Brian's did not. Can we tell if the car that left quickly at 2 or whatever that was,
Fog lights on it? I don't recall seeing them, but I was never looking for fog lights, so I can't answer that. I'll tell you a question I have about the car.
Yeah.
Another one. The initial.
They were not looking for fog lights. What the fuck? That answered our question. You guys, what people are going to realize if they were to actually talk, if the Ann Taylor's, I think she would admit to, like, you guys found way more shit than our fucking detectives did. That our people found, because we literally worked on this like morning, noon, and night, right? These people have other cases, right? There's just not enough time in the day, right? Well, that's why crowdsourcing with the material and what you can find is when you take the amount of hours that 10 people, 15, now you're talking about like 1,000, 5,000 people. The man hours that you can accomplish is just, it's insane. It's so if you're truly innocent, right? You need as many motherfucking people like us, all you people in this chat right here, that here, we're going to go get the material. We're going to put it out, watch it, email me, see if you see anything. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you need. I mean, how he says he has no idea about fog lights. I mean, your client, his car did not have fog lights. So it would be really important to know if the car that's circling had fog lights or not. Also, the car they're saying came in and, traveled by Floyd's and shit like that. You'd want to make those arguments that there's no fog lights, Man.
Report or assessment from the FBI gave us a time frame. The car is a model between whatever, I don't remember what the years were. And then later on that shifts and they make it a much wider margin for the car, a much larger window for that car to fit in. I've never seen a document saying when that change was made. And that's what I'm curious about. Did that switch occur before or after Brian Kohlberger was a suspect?
Yeah.
Well, Ann Taylor says it's before. I mean, it's after, because she's going off of when they had their name, when they had his name.
It's a small point, but it's an important point.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I know that.
Yeah, but also there was all these. The Elantra wasn't even one of the 8 originally. I mean, that's in the WSU files. I just don't understand. I personally believe that these people didn't. The material that they had was very, very limited. I have no idea what he was given. Where's his report? His report. Where's his report?
Focus mostly.
Did he even have a report? Was he? I think he said he didn't get paid for any of this. You guys, I am so confused of the role of Chris Holland in this case.
On the crime scene, but did you ever get a sense of when law enforcement was first identified Kohlberger in their investigation, and how did they identify?
No, I really don't. I know there's conflicting information about it, and I really couldn't answer that. I know the one thought is, they identified the car first. No, he was a suspect before the car was identified. I don't know.
Okay.
What about the idea that there's more than one car? You
mean more than one white car?
Or another car involved in the crime?
There is at 4, again, on the video, at 4:24, it's quite clear you will hear a vehicle start.
4:24.
And it has a bad muffler or supercharge or something, because the audio sound signature is quite obvious. Mm-hmm. On the 11:12 camera, that vehicle at 4:24 rolls out. It's gone for 4 minutes, and it comes back, I think, exactly 4 minutes.
Oh my God, this is not the same fucking car. Who planted this in these people's brains? I cannot believe they think that the 424 car is the same car that's the 429 car.
And it comes back and it clears the camera, your field of view, right? But you can hear the engine, and you can hear the engine shut off. And it sounds to me as if that vehicle now has stopped in front of 1122. And you can hear a door open and close.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that was at what time?
Oh, no. Truck, an SUV.
It's
No.
at 429.
Well, at what time?
Oh, it's 424, 428 back.
Okay.
Just 4 minutes. That's out there on I think the Lana Lang video.
The Linda
Yes.
Lane.
The Lana Lane? Lana Lane? I'm getting a goddamn fucking street sign that says Lana Lane. Y'all hear me? Lana Lane. You, Lana Lane, come on down. Fuck yes. Mark, what do you think about this? Lana Lane, baby. We're getting laid on Lana Lane, baby. Get paid, girl. I want some merch that says Lana Lane. Oh my god, let's get a fucking Moscow street named after me. I mean, oh boy. Mark, what do you think about this? What do you think about the 424 car? That's the girl that leaves with the cats. Hello, does anybody understand this? Do you understand these people were interviewed and the cops put it on that, oh yeah, the girl that left, that 424, yep, she just came home to pet her cats and make sure they were okay, and then she left back, went to work. And she doesn't return back until, like 6 something. Yeah, okay, sure. And then it's hello, the explorer, motherfuckers. Lana Lane takes the cake for me. You guys, Lana Lane. Can I just ask if Ashley Jennings would totally back it? 424 is not the 429 SUV. Yeah, exactly. The 424 car that leaves is not the one that comes back at 429. These people are wrong. Like, we track these motherfuckers. Not only that, we have the specs on these bitches. Like, come on. What the hell is going on around here? What if we were to tell this man, Mr. Holland, I need to talk to you for a second. Do you understand that the 4:29 a.m. car that comes back and actually pulls into the driveway is the Explorer, the SUV?
Yeah, it's all over the internet. It has been.
It's all over the internet. Lana Lane has been all over the internet.
So you saw some of the video as it was provided to the defense, right? You're not limited to just the video that's out there right now that people are showing and commenting on. You saw it as part of what you did for Dr. Turvey?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen any video? Have you seen any of the video that's out that some of the YouTubers that have been showing and evaluating?
I haven't, but I've not been sitting looking for that. But I've heard from a lot of different people that pretty much all of it is out there.
Okay, because my question is, there's a lot of analysis out there, a lot of speculation that what's been at least some of what's been released to the public as part of the FOIA request has been modified in some way.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't think what's been modified.
All right. I threw a question up here by Wicca. We get a lot of questions regarding just the manner of this crime and how horrific it was to all 4. Do you, with your experience, would you say that this is a crime of passion, and then you can separate also with overkill, because Turvey talks a lot about that in throughout his rebuttal.
No, I would not consider it a crime of passion. It was a crime of anger, a great anger, which is the overkill, the obviously the stabbing overkill, but then the strangulation. And again, I would argue that the hands were used to strangle it. That is the ultimate form of murder. Your flesh is taking the life out of somebody else. And so this is very personal to whoever it was that did the killing. And then the trauma is destroying who she is. All right. You're eradicating her identity, whether it's because she's cute or something, her personality, whatever. That's what you're destroying with that trauma to her face.
Wow.
All of that tells you that the killer knew her, knew Kaylee. And then we have the posing, which we haven't gone there, but we have the posing, which is done. And I think in Paula Sutton's report,
Wow.
she kind of downplayed that, but
He is saying that Kaylee, whoever killed Kaylee knew her personally. I'm sorry, but that would be Dylan. Dylan's journal saying, I will be popular. I will be liked. I will have friends, over and over and over, written in a journal. That's crazy. I consider anger as passion. Can't anger be passion? I just can't believe he just said that Kaylee knew her assailant. Like Kaylee knew the person that did this. That's what he's saying that textbook would tell you. Okay, that's why I feel like in the Sheldon Jeter Jr. case with Rachel Daltondo getting shot 9 times in the back, that is not a crime of passion. That would not be Sheldon Jeter Jr. That was a hit. Okay, she was told to go for a walk by a cop's daughter, and then she was shot on that sidewalk right where the driveway is for her mom's on Mother's Day. Okay, that was a message. Trust me, if Sheldon would have done that, I think he would have gotten caught. Okay, I think he would have gotten caught. This is crazy.
but we know it happened because her pillow, and I don't know if this was described here or not, but when you look at her pillow, there's a clear space where her head laid, and we have blood. So then her head was moved over onto that. You can clearly see that in the picture. So she's been posed now. All right. Mm-hmm. So that tells you not only did the killer have anger toward Kaylee, but the killer also knew the relationship between these two girls. Okay. There was no other reason for posing. Okay.
Okay. Like when you say like relationship, are you saying like that they were just really good friends? They were jealous of that relationship. So could this be a girl?
That's what it suggests. And then we have, I know this was talked about by somebody.
Could it be a girl that did the posing after the fact?
Some identical post-mortem injuries.
Yeah.
Again, why would you inflict identical post-mortem injuries on two people unless you are aware of some connection to them? All right. So I have no doubt that whoever the actor was, they knew these people.
He's saying, I have no doubt that the actor who did this to Kaylee and Maddie knew them. Posing and the exact post-mortem wounds. I have always thought that the simple answer was the killer never left the house. I always thought that the simple answer was that that there was a lot of intel. There was a lot of intel, and that if Bethany is, calling, it's like Dylan went down there to keep Bethany down there. I don't know, man.
They knew both of them.
Yes.
Okay. Was there any significance in the nature of those post-mortem injuries?
Well, the throat and the shoulder, and I can't speak this from experience, but I'm told to believe that those are, for a woman, that these are the attraction points. And you have a beautiful neck, or you have a beautiful shoulder. That's the only thing I've been made aware of in terms of the significance of the location of those. Okay. Maybe one of you ladies could answer that question, right?
Is there?
Okay.
I don't think either of them have
Yeah, it's interesting because like a jawline, you know what I mean? Like when you have like a nice jawline.
used a knife on anyone yet.
Well, no, I meant in terms of do women look at, would you look at, is that something that you're made aware of, that guys or someone that look at women, their neck, or she has a beautiful neck, or wow, look at her shoulders. I don't know. And I'll be quiet now.
I know some people say that with the injuries on the shoulders, there potentially was a point where both of the girls were picked up potentially by the shoulders and placed and posed. Is there any evidence that would support that?
No, not that I'm aware of. In fact, I would say just the opposite. To me, there's nothing to show anyone was moved other than the shifting of Kaylee onto Madison's shoulder.
Is there any significance of the second floor being cleaned up, but both rooms where the victims are really, although there was posing, is not consistently cleaned the same way the second floor is?
Well, the first floor, there really wasn't much to clean. I mean, on the third floor, rather. All right. The girls, the victims never got out of bed, so you don't have this blood all over the floor. And in Xana's room, they don't clean the room there. So we can look at back on the third floor. You don't have the blood all over the floor, so you're not tracking blood out of that room, right? When you come down the steps, you're not tracking blood out. In Xana's room, there would have been blood all over their shoes that would have been tracked out, so they had to deal with that. Yes.
Critic Rick has a question. Can you put that back up?
Yeah, let me go back. Hold on. Here we go. And I know he's asked this a couple times, and I do think it's a good question. So.
No comment.
Wait, what was the question?
So let me.
I had asked the reliability of the survivors. Does he believe them, or does he think that they are sussy person?
Let me go ahead.
I don't find them credible. Am I off base?
I'm sorry, I'm reading the question down there.
No.
No, not that I'm aware of any DNA on her neck area. So I'm sorry, Ron, say that again.
I don't find Dylan or Bethany credible.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say again, I have no comment. Okay. So I'm just kind of run through some things for you.
Yeah.
So this is interesting to me. This is totally interesting to me. I think it's more than they just don't have a comment, you guys, just to say like, dude, they're just, this is more than no comment, because I'm not going to lie, period. Like I can't speak on what I want to say, because this is not just about, they'd be basically implicating them in a murder. It's one thing just to say, that's how I'm taking this. This no comment to me is there is some level of culpability. That's how I'm taking that. Again, that's my opinion on their reaction to the no comment. No comment on that.
The idea that there were two offenders. All right. So first off, the idea that one person did this is completely illogical. I think we've kind of established that in terms of just looking at Kaylee and Madison, what had to transpire with the killer on top of the bed. Mm-hmm. All right. So you've got, it's illogical. We have multiple weapons used. We've got Ethan's blood somehow comes out of his room and ends up on a stairway that goes downstairs when the killer went out through the kitchen. This is the absolute big thing, which I thought you would go to this right off, Ron. The hair in Ethan's hand. Mm-hmm. In my eyes, as an investigator, the hair in Ethan's hand is prima facie evidence of the killer. Correct? That to me, that is the single most important piece of evidence in that house, is that hair. It's direct evidence as to who the killer was, and it wasn't tested. And it's obviously not Kohlberger's hair. Mm-hmm. This hair, Kohlberger's hair was what, 1.5 inches to 2 inches long? I don't know. I think it had a brush cut, right? One of those kind of jammed up crew cuts. This hair is 4 inches long, 5 inches long, 6 inches long. It's not his. And that in and of itself to me is proof there was somebody else there, another killer. Murphy being in the house at 4:45, how did he get into the house? Someone let him in the house, and it wasn't Brian Kohlberger.
Mm-hmm.
The killer had knowledge of cleaning supplies.
Mm-hmm.
How did they know where to find those in the house to use them? Then we've got the sliding door that is open or closed, but is open when the police arrived, yet the dog couldn't get in.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't touched on this, but at 10 o'clock in the morning, the first floor, what we call the door to the house, right? It's standing open. Well, who opened that? Dylan and Bethany were in Bethany's bedroom. So that door is open.
So they claim.
All of these things tell you there was somebody else involved besides Brian Kohlberger.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question that occurs to me too. So if the killer or killers,
Oh my God. He's basically saying that the cleaning supplies were in the house and they're no longer there because they're gone. Because there's no, I mean, who knew where they would have been at? Okay. Oh man. Oh fuck.
encountered Xana in the kitchen, that means that Xana was in the kitchen at least during part of the time when Kaylee and Maddie were being killed. Is it possible that they were killed without making a lot of noise?
Well, there's a problem with that. When both Dylan and Bethany say over and over again, you could hear everything in the house.
Yeah.
So that is an issue. How could you not hear a struggle of that magnitude occurring on the third floor? Now, keep in mind now, when you're not screaming when you fight. You scream before the fight. You scream when you're surprised. You scream when you're frightened. But once the fight begins, you're not screaming. You're fighting. You with me?
Yeah.
So there may never have been any big scream that came out of either Maddie or
what 251. There was a big. I'm telling you guys, we listened to it. 251. There's a big fucking scream.
Kaylee. But that to me doesn't excuse the idea that they would not have heard that struggle for their lives up there.
And here's a good question. Very, very early on in the case, there was information that was released that the girls upstairs were bound and gagged. Was there any evidence that you came across that within scope of your investigation that there was evidence to support that with the injuries?
No.
Wasn't there also hair found in Kaylee and Maddie's?
Yes. Actually, when you look at it, it almost looks like fake eyebrows. There's a lot of very shorter hairs in there.
Oh, so it was like somebody's eyelashes, fake eyebrows. Well, Dylan, that's what Dylan has.
Yeah.
Well, one of them supposedly may have even had some roots attached, bloody roots or skin.
Well, I don't know about in Kaylee's bed. There was in regard to Ethan and the blood, the hair that he pulled out of somebody's head.
Okay. Yeah. What do you take, or did you question this? Why none of the hair was tested against anybody, either in the house or out of the house?
Did I question it? Yes. Yes, absolutely. As an investigator, you're trying to find everything you can, especially, 4 people have been murdered. You want to think you're not going to leave a stone unturned. So as to why that hair was not tested, once they realized it wasn't Kohlberger's hair,
I'm starting with
they should have done everything they could to identify who it belonged to.
I'm asking him.
Is there, and I know that you didn't really have any dealings with Ann Taylor. You weren't hired by her.
No, I know. I've never talked to anyone on that defense team. I know Dr. Turvey.
Oh my God. I've never talked to him. I have never talked to Ann Taylor. I've never talked to that woman. Man, no wonder Ann Taylor's out here like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, she's like, you fucking broke the NDA, the non-disclosure, because you gave it to him. Is that what she's thinking? That what are you doing? I don't know, guys. I'm starting with a man. Dylan's asking me to change.
Tangentially connected because of this specific thing.
What can you think of any motivation the defense might have had to not have had any of those hairstyles?
I'm not going there.
Okay.
I'm not an attorney. I can only tell you what I know and what I think, and I'm just not going to wade into that.
Wait, what was it?
Connected because of this specific thing.
What can you think of any motivation the defense might have had to not have had any of those hairstyles?
I'm not going there.
Okay.
I'm not an attorney. I can only tell you what I know and what I think, and I'm just not going to wade into that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not trying to be evasive.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And we'll find the limits of where you're willing to go, and we're fine with that. We want to know what you do know and what.
All right, all right. So let me tell you this. These are what I think about. Let's go back on this timeline for a minute here.
Okay.
So if we accept the fact that that there was cleanup done, okay, there was cleanup done, there was posing, there was staging. Then we go back on this timeline from 4/17/40 to 4/20. It's roughly 3 minutes. He had to kill them. He had to kill Xana, 67. He had to kill Ethan, 11 cuts. He had to find the cleaning supplies, use the cleaning supplies, retrieve the knife sheath. Let me come back to that sheath for a minute. Mm-hmm. The sheath was not in that bedroom when the murders occurred. Okay. So go ahead and say, why do you think that? Because couple of reasons. One, it's absolutely illogical that the killer walked in there with that knife in his hand, had that sheath, and sat it down on something before he attacked him. All right. The sheath has no blood on it at all. If it had been in the area on the body, it would have gotten some.
Right there. Thank you. I agree. It is illogical to think that the killer walked in there, takes the knife out of the knife sheath, and just is like, you know what? I think I'm going to set this right here in the bed.
Some kind of blood transfer on it. And the sheath is totally clean, meaning they washed their hands, they cleaned their hands before that sheath was stuck there. So the sheath was in another location. It had to be brought into that room. All right. Mm-hmm. But back to my original point here, find cleaning supplies, kill them, find cleaning supplies, use the cleaning supplies, retrieve the knife sheath and place it, and then walk out to the car. Again, this goes into, this is what the state would have to fit into that timeline they've come up with. 3 minutes.
The Moyes move way up on the like the Moyes, after hearing this, should be moving up everybody's list. They were calling those fucking noise complaints. Okay.
It's from the time we know Xana was killed. And it doesn't fit. Use the cleaning supplies, retrieve the knife sheath and place it, and then
do something with the cleaning supplies. So not only do you have to like retrieve the cleaning supplies, but then you have to like discard the cleaning supplies, right? I mean, you're not cleaning up and throwing it in the garbage, right?
Walk out to the car. Again, this goes into, this is what the state would have to fit into that timeline they've come up with. 3 minutes from the time we know Xana was killed. And it doesn't fit.
It doesn't at all. So why didn't they go to trial?
And when we take all this together, we were talking about what's a behavior analysis and what does a criminal profiler do. Well, when we take all this together, we can come up with some characteristics for the offenders, but they're not pie in the, they're not this, he stuttered and he had a crush on his 5th grade teacher or something. But these are very concrete things that we can come to understand. Killer had knowledge of the house. Would you agree with that? The offset stairways, subdued lighting. He knew where to go, he or she, whoever, how to get up to the.
He said he or she, whoever. Holy shit. He went there. He said he or she. Oh my God. Oh boy. That's what I would have been saying, he or she. Oh boy.
3rd floor. Knew what bedrooms to go to, knew where Kaylee lived, that she was on the 3rd floor. Had knowledge of cleaning supplies, as we talked about. Had access to edged weapons. Had knowledge of how to get rid of the bloody clothing. Had a comfort level with the dog, Murphy. The dog didn't bother him. The presence of the dog was not an issue. One of the offenders had a comfort level with being in that house because one of the offenders was there 45 minutes, an hour after the murder, letting the dog in. And we know that one of the offenders had long dark hair because that's what's in Ethan's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can we talk about the cleaning supplies a little bit? So
Fucking Molly. God damn. Long dark hair, Molly. Fucking Molly. God damn it, Molly. Fucking Molly. God damn it, Molly. Fuck.
is there any evidence to suggest that the cleaning supplies located in the house were what was used, and then were they like taken away from the house or placed back?
There are cleaning. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
There are cleaning supplies in the house, but they were not taken to be analyzed.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of curious about that.
Oh,
It wasn't.
Otherwise, the only other thing would be they're bringing their own cleaning supplies in.
well, you wouldn't think that, right?
Let
right.
me ask, oh,
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
I was like, I have another question. This is Coco's.
What?
Were there any behaviors about the killings that support it could have been a female?
Well, I don't think you can look at it. No, you've got 4 dead people. And I don't know that there's a preference between men or women using a sharp edged item or anything. No. Not to me.
Oh, you mentioned there were, I think, 4 different types of edged weapons that were used, right?
4 wound profiles.
4 wound profiles. Were there 4? Were all 4 existing on all 4 victims, or
No.
were there certain ones on certain victims?
I can't remember. I can't remember that now. Yeah. You're really getting down in the weeds on this, Ron.
But it's not like because it sounds to me like and I've seen pictures of the room. The Kaylee or Maddie's room was quite small, and they were both murdered apparently on the bed. So I would expect that was 2 people, and so you'd have 2 different. Do we know, for instance, was the profile, the injury profile on Maddie different from what you generally find on Kaylee?
I didn't look at it to that extent as to trying to differentiate what weapon was used where. If we found a weapon, that would become important. But at this point in time, that wasn't something that was of interest or importance.
Okay. Let's see.
If there was one detail about this case, Chris, what do you wish people understood a little bit more?
Just a detail.
The detail, scope of the issue?
Well, again, okay. I think that the most important single detail is the hair in Ethan's hand. That is the most important piece of evidence in this crime, and it was never tested.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would be the single thing. Then a little bit lesser than that, for people to understand what happened, goes back to this timeline of what supposedly happened after 4/17. Understand that at 4/17/40, that pong table gets knocked over. That's when Ethan is attacked, and we know that because Bethany heard it. We hear it on the video. Bethany heard it, and she called Dylan 25 seconds later, wanting to know what's going on. So we have that as a fixed time. And from that point, we know these murders occurred, and nothing that the state argues fits in that timeline of 3 minutes from when that pong table goes over to when that car leaves. Nothing fits. So those would be the 2 points I would want someone to understand.
So that means it had to happen way earlier. Okay? That means it had to happen way earlier, but I'm over here just like saying like
Again, I'm going to emphasize this. Kohlberger pled guilty. I'm not arguing Kohlberger wasn't involved in this. It's simply the fact that the state's argument about this case is not correct, and there were 2 people involved.
hey, I'm not arguing this. Kohlberger wants to plead guilty, go right ahead and plead guilty. But the state's narrative of all this is wrong. And there was 2 people, at least 2 people involved in this. They'd be covering for a popo, a copy. Would you cover for a cop? Would you give him a plea deal to cover for a cop? Okay, well, I'm going to talk to you guys about something here. Ready? This is Exhibit A to defendant's first supplemental response to discovery. Like the state's asking for, hey, Ann, where's your shit? So this is the Exhibit A, and this is her investigative materials. She has Investigator Batanti's report. So he has 1, 2, 3, and 4. Investigator Jenquin. I don't know what her name is. Who is this? Jacqueline? Jenquin? I don't know what this is, but never seen this name before. It's seen photos and reports from 1/3/2023, and then and this investigator interviews with WSU employees from 4/2/2023, 4/25, 7/11, and 11/15. I want to see these interviews with WSU employees, these interviews that were conducted by Ann Taylor's team. This was all leading up, to the, they were going to have this preliminary hearing, and then it got, ixnayed. And then July 11th, 2024 and 11/15/2024, she has more interviews with WSU people. Then Investigator Trinkle report with Duff. I'm like, who are these people, right? They're all great things here. Then investigator, same person, this Jen Quinn, property and evidence, photos and report from January 10th, 2023. Investigator photos and documents from apartment, then transcripts obtained by the defense. So they turned all of these interviews into transcripts. Ready? Mowry did Mortensen, Johnson, McClure, and Beck. Second interview of Mortensen was transcribed. The amended, it says amended. Second interview with Bethany Funk. What? There was an amended? What do you mean amended? It's really interesting. Who is Kiva Bloxam Bliss? Anybody ever heard of that? Kiva? Who the fuck is Kiva? It's got to be somebody from WSU. Then they have Noonan's body cam. Then they have Snyder second floor. Then Gunderson fourth and fifth folder. Then Smith first folder. Morris second folder. Morris fourth folder. Payne with Decor. Payne with Maisie Chapin. When does Payne speak to Maisie Chapin? I thought that was Vargas. Then Payne with Molly Oh my God, it says Molly McDaniels on here. Oh my God, no way. Oh my God, I'm dead. Oh my God, did they spell her name wrong on purpose? Holy shit, take a look at this. We have breaking news. 666 is in chat. Look out. You guys, this is nuts. No wonder he said Molly McDaniel. It's Molly the mule. McDaniel, you guys, here you go. This is why Ann Taylor didn't know shit about Molly. Look at this. This is Ann Taylor's Exhibit A to defendant's first supplemental response to discovery under seal. Look at this. Show me that smile. There she is, Molly McDaniels. Molly McDaniels. Why does Ann Taylor think Molly's name is Molly McDaniels? I'm dead. Who the next? House with Bailey Briggs. Who the fuck is Bailey Briggs? House. His last name is House. There is an officer named House. House with Blaker and who's Jock? Is they mean Jack? Who is Jock? Bloker and Jock. What is this? Who the fuck is Jock? Who are these people? Oh my god. Who is House with Blaker and Jock? Jock. I'm sorry. House with second folder. House with third folder. House car backseat camera. Is this, I mean, we need to ask for the backseat camera. 911 call. Dylan Morton's an interview on 12:30. Jake Schreiger. Connor Chestnut. He gets done twice. By who? Dylan Morton's in. I'm telling you, this is the FBI one. Look at decor. Phone call. Showalter. Mary Ann Kohlberger. Look at that. 8530. They don't give her this shit. They don't give her this shit forever. 854. Look at how many. Oh my God. Agent Ballott's testimony in the Lori Vallow Daybell case. Oh my God, she was going there. I love it. She was going to take him to Pound Town. Like, here you go, buddy. You remember what you testified in this case to, right? God, I love it. Materials from defense expert Matthew. Videos. Photos and videos. Additional scans. Moscow Rick Barrow. Okay. Data. Photos. Photos of replica knife. Moscow. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Materials from defense expert Cy Ray. Drive test data. 2 zip folders and 9 files. Mitigation. Protective order pending. File labeled protective order containing medical, mental health, and confidential documents that the defense is currently trying to get a protective order issued. Amanda Kohlberger. This is everything that would fall underneath her CHP records. Oh my God, pediatrics. Like, oh my God, they like got all of everybody's families. Lehigh Valley Hospital. Social Security earnings. Kids Piece. Northampton Community. Brian Kohlberger. BJ Wholesale. He worked there. Integrity Solutions. Weston Senior Living. Oh my God. Those are the places that Brian Kohlberger worked. He worked at BJ Wholesale. He worked, it fits him right. Blowjob Central, right? BJ's for days. Integrity Solutions. Interesting. And then Weston Senior Living. Aw. I mean, I'm sorry, but usually people that work with the seniors, I mean, it takes it's usually good people, but damn. Now, this is when it's just like, who are these people, right? Carmine and Charles Raganosi or Raganas, I don't know, but they got death certificates here. Here's a military record. And then Michael Mastronicola. Eviction papers. What? Henrietta Votino. Death certificate. Louis Kohlberger. Death certificate. Madeline. Death certificate. New York Department of Health. Marie Armando. Death certificate. I think that what they're trying to say is, I don't know what family members you linked Kohlberger to because everybody's dead. Marianne Kohlberger, his mom, St. Joseph School record, college transcript, Lehigh Valley, CVS pharmacy records, Brooklyn Methodist Hospital records, Social Security, Pleasant Valley School District, car accident records, court file, car accident part 1, 2, cars photo car accident, Melissa Kohlberger, Pleasant Valley School records, NJ Division Consumer Affairs license, St. Luke's, Newport Pharmacy, mental health and addiction, Martha Turnberg, what? Jersey City. Bridgeway Behavioral Health. That's probably where she works. Michael Kohlberger Sr. Well, who the fuck is a junior? What the hell? Like, duh, it's Michael Kohlberger Sr. Does he have a fucking other son somewhere? Oh, this is Grandpa Kohlberger. Affordable Comfort. I'm surprised that Brian wasn't named Michael. Shit. Affordable Comfort Employment Death Certificate. Fort Hamilton Records. Bronx. Oh, VA Bronx Records. Wow. Michael Kohlberger Jr. This is Daddy. Oh, he's dead. Birth certificate. Kingsley, CVS, Pleasant Valley, SD Employment, Social Security's earnings, photos. Ronald Kohlberger, dead. Military personal file. Edward Thomas Kohlberger, ancestry records. You see this shit? George Robert, dead. Helen Kohlberger, Helen Keller, Joseph, NYC police records, and Richmond criminal court records. Catherine Lambert, dead. Marianne Kohlberger court file from 1988, car accident and photos. Mastronicola, eviction from family home. Who the fuck is this? Letter from this is from superintendent. That's who was in that. Wow. He must have wrote, whoever this person is, wrote Kohlberger a nice little letter. Thomas Edward Kohlberger ancestry. Voicemail from Brian to Cheryl. Photographs taken by defense investigator Batanti. All righty. All right. And that's where we're going to end today. Lana, can you give us the cliff notes on Nick Balance testifying Lori Val? I think that they were planning on having him testify a different way, clearly. And they're like, well, this is what you said in the Lori Vallow case. And it's like, do you want Lori Vallow to go free? I mean, this is nuts. This is nuts. These are all family members, but I think what she's trying to get at is, yes, that's Brian's mother's maiden name. And aren't they all dead? Basically, we're getting at who the fuck put in genealogy? Who who's doing any ancestor? Like, who do we got here? Brian, who's here in your family? Like, you have a really small family, don't you? Thank you, thank you. Can you explain really quick what tapping? It said Lori Vallow case. That's all I know in the Lori Vallow case, is that clearly how he testified in Lori Vallow case and what he said is not what he is saying and about to say in this case. So it's like, here, we're going to remind you what you said in the Lori Vallow case. Like, let's not forget. Now you're switching it up. That's kind of how I see it. Again, Allie Italian Hoppy Master, Allie Italian Hoppy Master. You guys are just toe tagging everybody. Everybody's turning green in chat. That's how I see it. And my thing is that if who put their who did 23andMe? Who did any of these for you to get a match to Brian Kohlberger? They were going to impeach Balance with prior testimony under oath. Yep, pretty much. When he's talking about these handoffs and that you just it's just case specific, that's a lie. That's just not even accurate. I'm heading to Lana Lane. Yes. Smash the like button. They're hiding something about Kaylee, and that's a fact. And they're covering for Dylan being a liar. That's a fact. Yeah, something's going on. Lana Lane, come for the after party, guys. We'll be live tomorrow morning because we're gonna continue on. I want to hear more about what Holland has to say. I mean, Ann Taylor did not hire him. He basically was reviewing Turvey's work. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Hit the thumbs up. I'll set it for 10 a.m. tomorrow. Join me. We'll see you on the next one. And give a shout out. Go on over there to Custody Queens for getting an interview with Chris Holland. Well done.